Okay, good afternoon to all. As I already told, so today we are going to conduct the guest lectures on Pythons. So the faculty is available here. That is Suraj Dhanve sir. So he is giving the instructions. Everybody should follow it. Okay, so as per the discussion happened in the last lectures, we are going to conduct the guest lecture for 2 hours today. I have already given the instruction. So faculty is present here. I I don't know. I think it's left. Okay. Dhanvesh sir.
Hello, Patan ma'am.
Sir, I'm audible.
Hello.
Yes, sir, I'm audible. Sir, you can start the session. I think sir has left the meeting room. So everybody should be with your laptop.
Hello.
I'm audible.
Patan ma'am, can I start? Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, sir. You can continue.
Hello. Am I audible? Okay. Uh, Patan ma'am, can I start?
Yes, sir. You can start now. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, good afternoon, all of you. Uh, okay. My screen is visible to you. Sanskruti, my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, today we'll start with Python database programming. So, as Madam told me that I have to complete the unit number 5. Okay. So, standard libraries in Python. So, we'll start with Python database
Sir, sorry to
programming.
interrupt, but your voice is not audible to us. Voice is not audible, sir.
Okay. Okay. Is it audible now? Is it audible? Hello. Is it audible now? Hello. Am I audible? Patan ma'am, am I audible?
So not clear still. That why should
Okay. Wait. Yes, now it is audible.
Yeah, it is out now. It is audible, sir. Now you can start.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay. So whenever there is audio issue, let me someone please tell me so that I can rejoin or we can take the proper arrangement. Uh, so okay. So we'll start with unit number 5, that is standard libraries and modules. So first point of that unit is a permanent storage, and you have to connect Python with SQLite 3. So first we'll start with Python database programming, and as we know that for application development, we require to store some information related to customer billing or some calling information or some if you are processing any image or image data, anything any information you are required to store that information, and for that purpose we require storage areas. Now in programming we have two types of storage areas. First is a temporary storage area and second is permanent storage area. So which are the temporary storage areas? The variables which we are declaring, that will be the temporary storage area. Means once we execute our program, so while our program is running, at that time only these storage areas will be active, or whatever data we are storing, that will be stored in that storage area. But once the execution stops, the that storage area will be get cleared. Okay. So in case of Python, everything is means whatever variable you are declaring, everything is considered as an object. Means if you are declaring integer variable, if you are declaring float variable, or if you are declaring any collection variable, so every variable in Python is a collection. So we use temporary storage areas in Python like list, tuple, dictionary, okay, or maybe an integer variable or float type of variable. Such variables are called as a temporary storage areas. So once Python program completes its execution, then these objects will be destroyed automatically and data will be lost. So that's why it is called as a temporary storage areas. Next is permanent storage area. So this storage area is also called as a persistent storage area. Means here we can store data permanently. So which are the permanent storage areas? File system, database, or data warehouse, or big data technology. So these are the permanent storage areas. Now, so if we take file system of a permanent storage area, so I am just means these points maybe you know, but I'm taking this point very quickly because you must know which are the storage area and what are its advantages and disadvantages. Okay. So first permanent storage area is the file system. I think you have already learned in Python how to open file, how to write file. There are different modes by which you can open file, and you can open both the text as well as the binary files. Okay. So file system. So file system can be provided by a local operating system, or file systems are best suitable for very less amount of information. Means if you want to store a very less data, then you can use the file system as a permanent storage area in your application. Now, what are the limitation of file system? So we cannot store huge amount of data in file system. That is the first limitation. Second is we cannot use the query language, like we cannot fire a query like select, insert, update, likewise queries. We cannot fire on a file system, and there is no security for data in file system. Means we know that whenever we are trying to connect with any database, we require a username and password. With that username and password only, we can connect with database. But in case of file system, there is no security. Okay. Then there is no any mechanism for a duplicate data. So data redundancy problem will be there, and also data inconsistency problem will be there in file system. Means we cannot prevent the duplicate entry, but that we can prevent in a database. Just like we can write the constraint, like we can write the primary key or foreign key, or we can write the specific constraint while inserting data. So that is available in a database. So these are the limitations of file system, and all these limitations are overcome in a database. So whenever you are using any database, so that database will overcome all the limitations of file system. Now, you can see the advantages of databases. So we can store huge amount of information in database. That is the first advantage. Then query language support is there. So we can fire a query, we can get the required information, we can insert the data, we can update the specific data of database. So we can fire the query by with the help of query language. So query language support is available in case of databases. Then to access data present in a database, compulsory username and password is required, hence data is required. And third and fourth one is inside database, data is stored in the form of tables, as we already know. So while developing database, we can implement various constraints like unique key, primary key constraint, which prevent data duplication. Hence, there is no chance of data inconsistency. So these are the advantages of using a database. So when you will use file system, so when there is a less amount of data is there, and you don't require security, and you don't require redundancy and inconsistency, then you can go for file system. And you, if you don't want duplicate data to be stored in your database, and or if your application don't want the duplicate data, also if your application wants a secure data, then go for databases. Okay. Now, what are the limitations of database also? So, database cannot hold the huge amount of information like terabytes of data. Okay, and database cannot support. The database supports only structured data. So, whatever data we are storing in a database, in a table format only. So, structured data will be stored in a database. So, if database cannot support for semi-structured data like XML files, or unstructured data like audio file, video file. Okay, so we cannot store such a files in a database. Okay, so we'll start with our today's topic, that is Python database. We can use SQL language to communicate with our database, and we can use Python language to send this SQL command to the database. Now, what is the role of Python language? So, whatever SQL queries are there, that will be sent to a database with the help of Python language. Now, Python has inbuilt modules or inbuilt support for several databases like Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, GetFlight, SQLite, or MS SQL, that is Microsoft SQL Server. So, for all these databases, there are inbuilt support is available in Python. Now, Python has separate module for each database. So we know that what is module. So it consists of different classes and the functions that we can use in our program with the help of input keyword. So there are separate modules available for each database. So whenever we are using any database in our program, so we can import that specific module required for that database. We can see the example cx underscore Oracle module for communicating with Oracle database, and MS SQL module for communicating with Microsoft SQL Server. So we can connect with any database by using its specific module or by importing its specific module. Now, there are some steps, or there are 7 steps for connecting with Python with a database. So, these are the steps for applicable for every database. Means if you are connecting with MySQL, MS SQL, Oracle, SQLite 3, for every database, these 7 steps are common. Okay, so if you are following these 7 steps, then you can easily communicate with, or your application will communicate with database very easily. Now, what is the first statement? Import database specific module. Okay, so the example I have given here, import cx underscore Oracle. So if you are connecting with MySQL, then import MySQL. If you are connecting with SQLite, then import SQLite 3. If you are connecting with MS SQL, import MS SQL. So these are the modules are there. So whenever you are connecting with any database, import database specific module. That will be the first step. Second step, establish connection between Python program and database. Okay, so whichever database you are using, so that with that database you have to establish one connection. Now for that connection you require the username, password, okay, and the host where that database is running, or where your means MySQL or Oracle is running, so that host you require. So you can see the example, con equal to cx underscore oracle dot connect, and you require the database information. So here the spot slash tiger at the rate localhost. So spot and tiger username, password, and the localhost is the server where the Oracle database is running. So you can make the connection with a database. So if MySQL is there, so that specific model like mysql.connect, and you can say username equal to whatever, like admin, and password equal to your database password, and then local host equal to localhost. So that will be the connection string for making connection with Python and MySQL. So you can connect with any database. So for example, means I have given here example of Oracle database. Okay, so one equal to cx underscore oracle dot connect squad slash tiger at the rate localhost. So this is the second step, establish connection between Python program and database. So while establishing connection, we get the connection object, and on that connection object or that connection object will be required for future step. Okay, so you can see the third step, to execute our SQL queries and to hold the result, we required a special object, and that object name is a cursor. So we can create the cursor object on a connection object. So for that we have one inbuilt method. That method name is a cursor. Okay, so we can create. So instead of cursor equal to font.cursor, you can take any variable like c is equal to font.cursor or cn equal to font.cursor. Any name you can take. So you have to call the cursor method on a connection object. Okay, so you can see here as an example, cursor equal to con.cursor. So what will happen? So cursor object will be created, and that cursor object we can use for executing query. Okay, so first step, import a database. Second, establish the connection between Python and database. And third, for executing queries, create the cursor object by using cursor method. Okay, so these are the three steps. Now fourth step, execute SQL queries by using cursor object. Okay, so for Python, execute and SQL query. So so function and method required for execute script so and multiple queries first create insert, and then rest all the queries will be comma separated. Okay, so to execute a string of SQL queries separated by semicolon, that you can pass in a execute script. Then third method for executing query is execute mini to execute parameterized query. So when you are using any parameterized query by using prepare statement, so for that you can use this function execute mini. So there are three functions or three methods by using which you can execute queries in a Python. So now you can see as an example, cursor.execute select star from employees. So this query will be executed with the help of cursor object. So this is the fourth step. Then fifth step, commit or rollback changes based upon your requirement. If you are passing any DML queries, data modification queries, if you are firing like insert, update, and delete, then you require the commit and rollback. So commit will save the changes to the database, and rollbacks it rolls the temporary changes back. Okay, so these two methods you can call like commit or rollback. Means if you want that whatever changes you made that will be saved in a database, you can call commit method. And if you want to undo whatever changes you made, that you can roll back with the help of rollback method. Okay, so these are the fourth and fifth step. Fourth step is execute SQL query by using cursor object, and fifth step is commit or rollback changes based upon our requirement in case of DML queries. Okay. Then sixth step, fetch result from the cursor object in the case of select queries. Okay. So in case of select queries, we require to fetch the result. So for that, you can see there are again three methods are there. Fetch one to fetch only one row, fetch all to fetch all the row, and it returns a select list of row. So you can see in previous case we have hired query select star from employees. Now if only one employee record you want to fetch, then you can call fetch one. If you want to fetch all the records, then you can call or all the rows which are there in an employee record, then you can call fetch one. And fetch many, and you can pass the parameters, so that many rows will be fetch. Means if you are passing 10, so first 10 rows will be fetched. If you are passing 100, then first 100 rows will be fetched. So depending upon your requirement, you can use any method, fetch one, fetch all, or fetch many. So this is the sixth statement. So you can see data equal to cursor dot fetch one. So in previous case you can see we have call method cursor dot execute select star from employees. So cursor object is holding the result of select star from employees. So that result we can fetch with the help of any method, fetch one, fetch all, or fetch mail. Okay. So first example you can see data equal to cursor dot fetch one print data. So what it will do? So in previous queries, whatever result is there, so only one row, that is first row, will be printed. Then data equal to cursor dot fetch all. Now here for loop is used, and it will print all. It will fetch all the data, and that data will be printed row by row. So for row in a data, print row. So it will print the data row by row. Okay. So this is the sixth step. Then seventh step, close the resources. So whichever connection you have created or connection object you have created, so you can close that connection object with the help of close method. So it is mandatory that whenever you are opening any file or any database connection, you should close that connection. Okay, so cursor dot close or con dot close. You can use the close method with the cursor object also and con object also. So these are the 7 steps for connecting with any database. Do you get this? All these steps? Yes, anyone can reply. Am I audible? Yes, Saloni, Sanskruti.
Yes, sir. Getting
Yes.
it.
Okay. From voice. Yes, from voice. Yes, Omkar. Okay. Uh, I will move to the next point. So this is our syllabus point. So database or DB API 2.0 interface for SQLite database. So this is our syllabus point. So up to now, whatever we cover, this is the basic for any databases. So now this is our actual syllabus point. Now, what is SQLite? So it is a C library and that provides a lightweight disk-based database that don't require a server. Now, if you are using a MySQL, Oracle, or MS SQL, you require a server for running that database. But in case of SQLite, you don't require a server or separate server for accessing the database. Okay, so it is a very lightweight database. So for mobiles also we can use this lightweight database. So it is a non-standard variant of SQL query language. So we can fire the queries also on this database. Now some application can use SQLite for internal data storage. Okay, so in mobile also we can use the SQLite as an internal data storage. It is also possible to prototype an application using SQLite and then port the code to the larger database such as PostgreSQL or Oracle. So while developing mobile application, you can use this SQLite database as a local database, and then you can go for upgradation like Oracle or MySQL or PostgreSQL database depending upon your requirement. Or whenever there is if you are developing any mobile application by using Android, so when there is no internet connection is there, so you can store your data locally by using SQLite, and when the connection will be established or when there is an internet connection, then you can sync that locally stored data with your data which is stored with a database which is on a server. Okay, so for that purpose also you require this SQLite databases. Now this SQLite 3 module, so this module is inbuilt module present in a Python, and this module is written by Gerhard Herring. So it provides a SQL interface with DB API 2.0 specification, and it is described by PEP 249. So Python enhancement proposal 249. So we already know that Python is an extensible language, so anyone can add its own code and he or she can create its own language, or he can add its own, we can add our own libraries to Python. So if any libraries you can recommend to python.org, and if it is accepted by python.org, that is official site for Python, then they will take that modification as a PEP, that is Python enhancement, as a Python enhancement, and that will be added to a next version of Python. So this SQLite 3 module, it is added in Python after Python 3.5. So if you are using a current version like Python 3.8 or 3.9, then it will be the inbuilt module present in a Python. So SQLite 3. So you don't require to download or to install SQLite 3 module while connecting with SQLite 3 database. Okay. Then to use this module, you must first create the connection object that will represent the database. Okay. So we can follow the same steps for connecting with Python with SQLite database. So whichever steps we have previously discussed, all 7 steps we can use for connecting with Python with SQLite database. So now you can see the first step, import database specific module. So we have SQLite 3 module for connecting with SQLite database, and this is the inbuilt module present in a Python. So if you are installing Python, with Python we have this SQLite 3 module. So import SQLite 3. This will be the first statement when you are connecting with Python with a SQLite database. Second statement, establish connection between Python program and SQLite. You can see con equal to SQLite 3.connect example dot database. So example.db. Now what happens when this line is executed? If example.db is not present in your machine or in your current directory, current working directory, then it will create the example.db file. Okay, and if it is already exists, then that file will be overridden. Okay, so remember this: if example.db is not present, then this file will be automatically created at your current working directory. Whichever your current working directory is there, automatically this example.d will be created. So not necessary that every time you give example.db, you can give any name to your database. Okay. Then third step, create cursor object by using cursor method. So you can see C is equal to con.cursor. After this, the fourth step is execute SQL queries by using cursor object. Now you can see C.execute. I am creating here one table. Create table stocks. It's the whatever columns are there. You can see date text, then transaction text, symbol text, quantity real, price real. Okay, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns are there, and then after this, the stocks table will be created. Now, if you are executing program first time, then this table will be created. If you are executing program second time, then you will get error because the stocks table is already present, so you cannot create the same table again. Okay, so make sure that your table will be created only once. Okay, or you can see the second statement, C.execute insert into stocks values. So you can see the date is there, then buy, then the symbol text, and then quantity is 100 and the price is 35.40. So all these values will be inserted into stocks table. Okay, so which we have created at a first line. You can see C.execute create table stocks, and then the next line C.execute insert into value. So you can write as many insert statement you want. Okay, just you have to make sure that the proper data you are inserting in a table, depending upon the data types you have if you have used while creating table. Okay, so C.execute insert into stocks values. Okay, so in this way you can insert values into table. Okay, then fifth step. So after insert and create, so we can commit whatever changes we made on that table. So commit or rollback we can fire here, so on a connection object. So you can see con.commit, and it will again save whatever changes we made. Then fetch the result from the cursor object in case of select query. So C.execute select star from stocks ordered by price. Okay, so if you are firing this query, then the result will be stored in a cursor object. Then close the resources, con.close. So in this way you can connect with Python with SQLite database. So example I have given here. So same whatever code is there in that 7 statement, that code is there in an example also. So import SQLite 3, then con equal to first step is importing the database. Second, create the connection object, con equal to SQLite 3.connect example.db. Then third statement, create the cursor object by using cursor method on a connection object. So C is equal to con.cursor. Then execute queries, whichever query you want to execute. So C.execute create table stocks. So stocks table will be created. Then insert a record, that is C.execute insert into stocks. Then you can insert values into database. Then con.commit. Then for row in a C.execute select star from stocks. Then print row. So we are printing one row one by one, and con.close. So in this way you can make a connection with Python with the SQLite database. Now, do you have a Pydroid app? Yes. Do we have Python app? Have you downloaded? Yes. Give me reply.
Yes,
Am
sir.
I audible? Yes.
Yes.
So, okay. Can you execute this program? So I will give you a 4 minutes. You have a Python app. So execute this program and tell me. So what will happen? The output will be displayed on console also, and you can search for example.db. So that database is also created on your mobile. So if you are accessing through mobile, if you are accessing through or if you have a laptop, then you can write code on if you have idle C or idle editor is there, or if you have Python, any editor you can use. Just type this code and execute it. Automatically the database will be created on your local file system. Okay, and you can see the rows page from that database, and also the table is created and database is also created. Okay, so I will give you 3 to 4 minutes. Execute this program, everyone. It is I suggest that everyone should type this code so that you will get a clear idea about how to connect with a database. And these steps are for all the database. Means you can connect with MySQL, Oracle. For every database, the same steps will be there. Okay, or you can say only the connection step will be different, but all will be remaining step will be same, because for the first two steps will be different for other databases, but remaining steps will be same for every database. Okay, so execute this. I will give you 3 to 4 minutes. If you have any error, you can discuss that error with me, or if you have any problem, that also you can share with me. Start typing. So the one I always says this in class, the best programmer, if your logic is not good, if you are analytically not good, that doesn't mind. The good programmer is one who types the code. Okay, so make sure that you type code daily for 1 hour or 1.5 hours. Then only you will become a good programmer. Then only your logic will get developed. So type the code. Uh, if you have any problem, you can ask me. And once you finish, let me know whether you have executed or not. You can use any editor. If you are accessing through mobile, then Python app is there. You can download that Python app and you can execute the code. And from this topic onwards, there are so many programs are there and that you have to execute. So uh, means don't think that this will be the last program I will ask you to execute. So many programs are there after this slide. Anyone executed? Is executed? From voice? Your voice is okay. Your voice. Yes, executed. If you have any problem, you can discuss. Yes, Sudhakar. Sudhakar, have you executed? Yes, Rutuja. Am I audible? Speak, speak. Sanskriti, executed.
Yes, sir. Just now executed.
Okay, very good, very good. So at least one student executed. What about others? Yes, Pranali, Pratik. Yes, executed. Pranali executed. Very good, very good. So rows are displayed. So I have 50 slides. So I'll come back to this. Hope you have executed or take the. I will share the this PPT after this lecture, so you can execute by your own after this lecture. So next topic is handling CSV files. Am I audible, Sanskriti?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay, and screen is visible.
Yeah, sir.
Okay. So handling CSV files. So CSV files are comma separated values. Okay. So as a part of programming, we require many times we require to store data in a CSV file and to read data from a CSV file because in if you are doing any machine learning project to store the properties or some values, you require a CSV files, or if you are doing any image processing also, so to store the properties of image also, we require a CSV file. Okay, so Python provides a CSV module to handle a CSV files. Okay, so CSV files are very much similar to Excel sheet. So you know that a .csv format. So it is very much similar to a CSV Excel sheet, but these values are comma separated values. If you are opening this in a notepad, then you can see all values are comma separated. Okay, so to handle such a CSV files in Python, we have a CSV model. So by importing that model, uh, you can write data to CSV file and you can read data from CSV file. So you can see through example writing data to CSV file. Now for this first step is import a CSV model. So import CSV. Now I have already have env.csv file. So if that I will open that file in a write mode. So with open emp.csv in a write mode and a new line equal to blank as a f. Now, can anyone tell me what is difference between open and with open? In file handling, we can open a file by two ways, open and with open. Can anyone tell me the difference between? Okay, so I will tell you. So when you are opening file with just open function, then you have to close that file with whatever object you have created. Means f is equal to open. Suppose your file name is 1.txt and you are opening that file in the write mode, then you have to close that file by using f.close. But in case of with open, you can see with open m.csv in this example, then write mode new line as a f and colon is there. So this will be considered as a block of code. So when you are going outside of this block, automatically it will close your files. Okay, so if you don't require to write f.close method of a file handling when you are using with open, but in this case with open will be considered as a block. So you can see after statement number 2, 3, 4, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All these statements are there in a block of with open as a F. And when you write the statement exact below of which statement, automatically your file emp.csv or whatever object created on emp.csv, that will get closed. Okay, so you don't require to write explicitly f dot close by using with open. Okay, so with open emp.csv in a write mode and new line equal to just blank as a f. So what will happen if m.csv file is already there in your machine, already there on your machine on in the same directory, then it will be overwritten. If that file is not present, automatically this file will be created. Okay, so m.csv file will be created in a write mode as a f. Now then create the writer objects. Okay, so how to create writer object? So in Python we have a writer method, so we can call that writer method and you can pass whatever file object we have created at line number 2. So you can see w equal to csv dot writer and pass the file object which we have created at line number 2 to that writer method. Then on this writer object, we can write a rows to the CSV file. So you can see at line number 4, w dot write row, then employee number, employee name, employee salary, and employee address. So 4 columns will be there. Okay, so these are the 4 columns. Then n is equal to int input enter number of employees. So now this will be the heading line of a CSV file. So employee number, employee name, employee salary, and employee address. So this will be the header, and we can insert the multiple employees record after this row. Okay. So what we are doing at line number 5, we are accepting how many number of records we are inserting into CSV file. So n is equal to int input enter number of employees. So that will be stored in n. So n is how many employee record you want to store in a CSV file. Then at line number 6, for I in a range of n, then employee number equal to input enter employee number, employee name, employee salary, employee address, and once we get all this information, we will write one row into CSV file. Again, and how many times this loop will iterate? Up to n. So means if I am entering n as a 5, then my loop will iterate for 5 times, and 5 times the employee number, employee name, employee salary, and address, this value will be taken from user, and after each times means after for each iteration, one row will be added into CSV file or one row will be written into CSV file. Okay, and you can see at 12 print total employee data written in a CSV file or return to CSV file successfully. So in this way, you can write data to a CSV file. What is important? First, you open that CSV file in a write mode. Second, create the writer object with the help of a writer method and pass the file which you have opened or file object which you have opened to that writer method. Okay, so w.csv.writer writer and that object. Then you can write the row, whichever row you want to insert in a CSV file by using write row method. Okay, so w.write row, you can write the row which you want to insert into CSV file. So in this way, you can write data to the CSV file. Second, how to read data from CSV file. Again, the same we required the module import CSV. Now here you can see difference between with open and open. So f is equal to open emp.csv in the read mode. Now here the compulsory emp.csv must be present in a current working directory. If it is not present, then you will get error file not exist. Okay. Then now in previous case, to write data into CSV file, we have to create a writer object
Now, in this case, we have to create a reader object. Okay, so R is equal to CSV dot reader, and we are passing here file object F. So CSV dot reader F, then data equal to list of R. Now, whatever data we are accepting, that will be stored in a R, and we can convert, or here at line number 4, we are converting that string data into list. So data equal to list of R. Sorry. So for line in data, okay, at line number 6, for a line in a data, and so for each line, or when we are considering a list of R, what will happen? So each row will become one element of that list. Okay, so first row, then comma, second row, then third row. So likewise, each row will become an element of list. Okay, so for line in a data, then for word in a line, print word. Okay, so we are printing each word of that particular line, and print statement, so that the data will be printed line by line, or each row will be printed once. So for that purpose, we have written print statement at line number 9. So in this way, you can read data from CSV. Okay. So do you have any doubts, or do you want to execute this code? Yes. Yes. Reply. Do you want to execute this code, writing data to CSV file? Or shall I move to the next slide? Yes or no? Okay. So, am I audible? Yes, Samskruti, am I audible?
Yeah, sir, you are.
Okay, okay, okay. Next point is zipping and unzipping files. So again, for this purpose also we have inbuilt module present in Python. And first we'll see why we required zipping and unzipping of file. And it is very common required to zip and unzip file. And what are the advantage of zipping file? It improves the memory utilization. So when you are zipping a file, then you are combining all the file and you are making a one zip file of a mini file. So it improves the memory utilization. Second, we can reduce the transport time. Means if you are transferring file from one memory location to another, or from your machine to pen drive. So for at that time, the transport time will be reduced if you are zipping file. You can write out also, if you are transferring 100 files, then it takes more time. If you are zipping that 100 files into one file, then it will take less time to transfer file from one memory location to the another memory location. Okay. Third is we can improve the performance. If your file transfer time is reduced, if your memory utilization is reduced, you can improve the performance of your system. Okay. Now to perform zip and unzip operation, Python contains one inbuilt module, and that module name is a zip file. Okay. So you have to import this module whenever you are zipping or unzipping file. Now this module contains a class zip file. Now, first you will see how to create a zip file.
So we have to create a zip file class object with a name of the zip file and then mode and the constant zip depleted, zip underscore depleted. This constant represent we are creating file. Okay, so while creating any file, we require zip file class object. Okay, so and what are the parameter for that zip file? First parameter is file name which you want to create. Second, the mode in which you are opening that file, and then the constant. So zip depleted means you are creating a file. Okay, so you can see the syntax f equal to zip file. This is a class present in a zip file module. Files.zip. This will be the file which you where you will zip all the file. Then write w, that is a write mode, and then zip depleted. So zip depleted is a constant and that is compulsory while you are creating file. Okay, so that means you are creating file. So once we create a zip file object, we can add files by using write method. Means suppose I want to add 1.txt, 2.txt, 3.txt. Likewise, if I have 15 files, then I can add all the 15 files into files.zip with the help of write method. So f.write, I can pass 1.txt, then f.write 2.txt, f.write 3.txt. So what will happen in files.zip, all the file will get transferred or all the file will get zipped. Okay. Next, you can see example from zip file import star. So meaning of this, from a zip file import all the functionalities. So by mistake I have printed here a 2 star, just single star is required. From zip file import star. Then f is equal to zip file files.zip. So that will be a name of my zip file. Then open that file in a write mode, and zip deflected means you are creating a zip file. Okay. F.write file1.txt, f.write file2.txt, then f.write file3.txt, f.close print files files.zip created successful. So once you execute this program, the zip file files.zip will be created in the same directory where you are writing program, and you can open that zip file and you will get file1.txt, 2.txt, 3.txt inside that zip file. So in this way, you can create a zip file in a Python. You require a zip file module, and to create a zip file, you require zip file class, and you require three parameters. First, file name. Second, the mode in which you are opening that file, and then the constant zip file depleted. So once you create a zip file object, you can add the file to the zip file which you want to create. Okay, so this is zip operation. Second, to perform unzip operation. Now we have to create zip file object as a follow for unzip operation. Now here the syntax will be same, just the constant will get changed. Okay, means f equal to zip file files.zip. So this file must be present previously because you are opening file in a read mode, and the constant zip store. So meaning of zip store. So you are opening file in a read mode or read operation. Okay. So zip store represents unzip operation, and this is a default value, and hence we are not required to specify. So if you are not specifying zip underscore store, which if you are passing only two parameters, files.zip and read, that is sufficient. But because by default it will consider that you are performing unzip operation. But if you are performing zip operation, then compulsory you require the constant zip depleted. Okay. Once we create a zip file object for unzip operation, we can get all the file names present in a zip file using name list method. So for this unzip operation, we have name list method, and by using that we can list all the files present in a zip file. Okay. So while unzipping means what are the different files stored in that zip file that we can print out, or that content we can display with the help of
unzip operation. Okay, so you can see the code from zip file import star, then f equal to zip file files dot zip. We are opening that file in a read mode, and zip store, that is the constant for unzipping file. Then names equal to f dot name list. So this is the method which will give you list of all the zip file present in a files dot zip. Okay. Then for name in a names, print file name, then print the content of this file is, so f1 equal to open name dot r. So what will happen? So we get the list of all the files in a names variable. Then that is the list. So for name in a names, so name will point to the each element present in a list names, and that element is nothing but a file name. So you can print that file name, then you can open that file in a read mode and you can display the content of that file. So f1 equal to open name comma r, and then print f1 dot read, so you can display all the contents present in a that file. Okay, so if your files dot zip contains 5 files, then each file will get open in a read mode and the content of that file will be displayed. Okay, so if 5 files are there, 5 times the different files will be open in a read mode and the content will be displayed on a cursor. Okay, so this is uh, unzipping a file. Next topic is working with directory. Okay, so it is very common requirement to perform operation for a directory, like to know the current working directory, to create a new directory, to remove an existing directory, to rename a directory, and to list content of the directory. So these are the 5 operations we perform with a directory. Now first is to know current working directory. Now to perform operation with directory, we require OS model. Okay, and you have to import OS model in your program for performing operations related to working directories, or operation related to directories. Now you can see first to know current working directory. Now many times you require to know that which is your current working directory. So at that time you can use this code. So first you have to import OS model. So import OS, then CWD. This is the variable CWD equal to OS dot get CWD, get current working directory. So we have get CWD method in the OS model, and you can call get CWD method and you will get the current working directory. So print current working directory CWD. So in this way you can print the current working directory. So if anyone asks you how will you what is your current working directory, how will you print it? So by using these 3 lines of code, you can print the current working directory. Second, to create a subdirectory in the current working directory. So how will you create a directory, subdirectory in a current working directory? So import OS, then os.mkdir. So this is the method for creating a subdirectory mkdir. So os.mkdir myself. So what will happen in your current working directory? One subdirectory will be created, and that subdirectory name is a myself. So print myself directory created in a current working directory, that is in a CWD. Then third, to remove a directory. So again, to remove directory, we have uh, we have to import the OS model, and then os.rmdir, that is remove directory, and you have to specify a path, which a path of the directory which you want to remove. So you can see mysub slash mysub2. So what will happen? Mysub2 directory will be created. So if you are passing a path, complete path for removing directory, whatever will be the last directory in that path, that will get deleted. Okay. Then to remove multiple subdirectories or multiple directories in the path, means you want to remove all the directories of path, then you can remove that with the help of os dot remove dirs. So by using that, you can remove all the directories in that path. So you can see import os dot remove dirs sub1 slash sub2 slash sub3, and you can see print all three directories sub1, sub2, and sub3 removed. So in this way, you can remove all the subdirectories in a path. Okay. Then to rename a directory, so to rename directory in OS module, we have a rename method. So you can use that method for renaming directory. You can see import os dot rename myself new directory. So the old name and the name which you want to give to the that directory that you can specify. So what are the parameters for rename method? Old name, new name. Okay. Then you can see the name will automatically get changed. Okay. So we can use the rename method. Then to know the contents of the directory. Now, if I want to display what are the contents of that directory, means how many files and sub directories are there inside that directory that I can display with the help of list directory function, list dir, to list out the contents of the specified directory. And it will not display the content of subdirectory. Means suppose I am displaying the content of directory. Suppose my directory name is suppose SE or TYCSE. Then if suppose in TYCSE there are different subdirectories are there. So we don't get the content of subdirectory. It will just display the content of TYCSE subdirectory, TYCSE directory. So you can see the example import OS, print OS dot list dir. Now this program will display content of current working directory, but not content of subdirectories. Okay. How to get information about file? This is also required. Many times you require the information related to file, like when this file is created, who modified that file, who accessed that file last time, what is the date and timestamp of that file. To get such information related to any file, we require we have one method stat, and that method is present in a OS module. So you can call stats equal to os.stat, and you can pass the file name whose stats you want or whose information you want. So here in this case, in example, you can see stats equal to os.stat abc.txt. So abc.txt file information you will get. So what statistics will be displayed? So mode, the protection bits, inode number, device, then number of hard links, user ID, group owner. So all this information will get displayed. You can see this information related to file. You have learned this in a file system in operating system. So you know what is inode number, protection bits, okay, or group ID, user ID. So likewise, information will get displayed if you use the stat function on any file. So how will you use that? os.stat, and the parameter is the file which host information you want to display. That file you have to pass to os.stat. So this is all related to directories. So you can get the information about these directory with the help of OS model. Okay, so current working directory, you can create new directory, you can remove an existing directory, you can rename a directory, and you can list out the content of directory, and also you can get the information about a file. Second is pickling and unpickling of objects. This is very important topic. This is also called as a serialization or deserialization in other languages, in Java or in any object-oriented languages. So pickling and unpickling means if you are facing a Python interview or any object-oriented language interview, there will be a question on this, like what is a serialization and deserialization in Python, so, or what is pickling and unpickling in Python. or if you are facing Java interview, they will also they will ask you what is serialization and deserialization in Python. So pickling means serialization and unpickling means deserialization. So we'll see what is pickling. So sometimes we have to write a state of object to the file, and we have to read the total object from the file. So what is mean by state of object? So when you are declaring any class, and in that class, whatever instance variables are there, that will be considered as a state of object. Okay. So the instance variable you define, or whatever variables are there, whatever variables or whatever parameters are there in a constructor, that variables will be instance variable. Okay. So the state of object means instance variable of that object. Means suppose if I am creating a student class, then roll number, name, address, birthday, likewise data or likewise variables will be considered as a state of that student object. If employee is there, then employee number, employee salary, employee department. So these variables will be considered as an instance variable, and that will be the state of that employee object. So whenever we are creating object, so like employee 1, employee 2, employee 3, if we are creating 100 employee object, then we have 100 states related to that particular object. Okay. So writing a state of object means writing instance variable of that particular object to a file is called as a serialization or pickling. Listen carefully. Writing a state of object to a file is called as a serialization or pickling. And another that is reverse, that is reading a state of object or reading a object from a file is called as a unpickling and deserialization. Okay. So writing state of object to a file or writing object to a file is called as a serialization, and reading object from file or reading state of object from a file is called as a deserialization. Now you may have doubt like why it is required, means why it is required that to write a state of object into a file and then read a state of object from another file. So it is required if you are working in a network, then many times it is required that you have to share a class information with another programmer. Then at that time you cannot send a whole code to that programmer. So instead of that, what you can do, you can write the state of that particular class or that particular object into one file, and that file you can share with another programmer, and that programmer will take that text file and he can read that information, and he can create the object from that text file. So instead of sending the whole class to that programmer, you can send just a particular file where you have written the state of object. The programmer will read that state of object and he can create that object again. So for this purpose, we require serialization and deserialization or pickling and unpickling. Do you get this point? Okay. So again, the process of writing state of object to the file is called as a pickling, and the process of reading a state of object from the file is called as a unpickling. Okay, and we can implement pickling and unpickling by using pickle model. Okay, so that model is present in a Python. By using this model, we can implement pickling and unpickling operation. Now, pickle model contains dump function to perform pickling and the load function for unpickling. You can see what is syntax for this dump method for pickling operation. So pickle dot dump object comma file. Now you can see here you have to pass the file object or object name and the text file name where you want to write file, or not necessary text file. You can write in any file. You can see pickle dot dump, then which object. Suppose if I am created student s, s is equal to student, so s will be the reference variable which is pointing to the student object. So here I can pass s comma 1.txt. So what will happen? Whatever state is there with s object, that will be written in a 1.txt. Okay, this is for pickling. Then unpickling, exactly reverse. So obj equal to pickle.load and 1.txt. So what will happen? In 1.txt we have written the state of the object, student object, and that will be again the object will be created obj, and that object will have the state which we have written in a 1.txt. Now you can see the example. So writing and reading state of object by using pickle model. So you can see uh, first import pickle, then class employee. Here at line number 3, one constructor is defined, and we already know that in Python we have inbuilt method for inbuilt function for defining constructor. So underscore underscore init underscore underscore self employee number, employee name, employee salary, and employee address. Then say employee number equal to employee number, then self dot e name equal to e name, self dot e sal equal to e sal, and self dot e address equal to e address. So in this way, this constructor is created. So whenever you are creating employee object, you have to pass these four information or four parameters to that employee object. So employee name, employee number, employee name, employee salary, and address. So these four parameters will become the state of employee object. So that states we are going to write in a text file or in any file. Okay. So now you can see here one method is there, define a display self. So this is instance method, print self dot employee name, self dot ename, self dot sal, and self dot address. Then with open m dot dat. Now here we are writing the file data to this file. So that's why we are opening that file in a write binary mode, because that file is a binary file. So m.dat write binary as a f, then is equal to employee 100 Durga 1000 HYD. Then pickle.dump, you can see here what we are passing here, employee object e, and then f is a file name. So what is the file name? m.dat. Okay. Then print pickling of employee object completed. Now the whatever states of employee object e, that is written in a m.dat file. Now we are performing the unpickling operation. So we will open same file in a read mode. Please open emp.dat in a read binary mode as a f. Now while performing unpickling, we have a load function. So while pickling, we have dump function, and while unpickling, we have load function. So pickle.load f. So we are passing the object. We are passing the object of file where we have written the state of object previously. So previously we have written state of object in emp.dat. So that will be unpickle, and we get the obj object, and we can call the display method, so that we come then only we come to know that the state of object we have written previously in a m.dat, that is unpickled or not. So in this way, you can write data for reading a state of object by using pickle model. Sorry, writing and reading a state of object by using pickle model. Okay. So this is all about pickling and unpickling of object. Okay. Next is writing multiple employee object to the file. Now in previous case, we have written only one object. So you can write a multiple employee object also. So here one class is created. In that class, one constructor is there, which is accepting four parameters. And in that class, also one instance method is there, which displays the information, or which displays all the instance variable. Okay. So this is a class employee. Then we'll write two files. One is pick.py and another is unpick.py. So import employee emp comma pickle. So we are importing two files. One is a model, that is pickle, and one is a class file, that is employee, that is EMP. Okay. Then f is equal to open m dot tab, and here we are accepting the number of employees, suppose 5. Then 5 employee information will be taken, and that will be dumped into a text file. So in this way, we can write a multiple employee object to the file with the help of this. Just you require a for loop, and by using that, you can write the multiple employee object to the file. And while unpickling also, same will be there. The file where you have written the state of object, that you have to open in a read mode, and then you can check, you can use the load function details which we have written previously in a emp dot. Then pick and unpick employee details, or pick and unpick the object or object states. Okay. So what is pickling? Again, I will tell you. So pickling, writing state of object into file is called as a pickling or serialization, and reading state of object from a file is called as a unpickling and deserialization. Okay. In Python, it is very easy for to serialize or deserialize, but in case of Java, it is quite difficult. Okay, because more syntax is there in Java. So, but in case of Python, we can easily perform the serialization and deserialization. Next topic is Python logging. So the logging, to store complete application flow and exception information to the file, and this is called as a logging. Okay, so when you are executing any application, so it is recommended that you should maintain the flow and exception information, or whatever error you got, that error information you can store that in a log file. And why we require that log file? So it is very easy to debug the code, because we have all the error history or exception history in that file, and by using that exception or error history, we can perform the debugging operation. Also, second advantage, we can provide a statistic like number of users or number of requests per day by using this logging information. Okay. Now, to implement logging, Python provides one inbuilt module, logging. So by using this logging module, we can write the exception information or error information into file. Okay, and that file anyone can, means we can by using that file we can check which type of errors are there or which type of exceptions occur, and who are the users who are accessing the application, and we get the statistics about the number of requests for that particular application. Okay, so in logging there are 6 levels are there in a Python. So first is critical, and that is that represents a very serious problem. Then error represents a serious error. Warning represents a warning message. Then info represents a message with some important information. Then debug represents a message with debugging information. And then not set represents that a level is a not set. So by default, while executing Python program, only warning and higher level message will get displayed. Okay, so these are the 6 levels, and while performing a logging operation, or if you are writing a logging related program, you have to use all any one of these 6 critical level. So we'll see how to use these 6 critical level in a program. Now you can see how to implement logging. So to perform logging, first we require to create a file to store messages, and we have to specify which level messages we have to store. Okay, so the level we have seen previously, so like critical, error, warning, info, debug, and not set. So these 6 levels are there. So what is the first operation? First we require to create file.
to store messages, and we have to specify which level messages we have to store. So we can do this by using basic config function. So by using this basic config function, which is present in a logging module, we can implement the logging operation. So logging dot basic config, so file name log.txt. So in that in this file, all the logging information will be written, and level will be logging dot warning. So meaning of this, the above line will create the file log.txt, and we can store either warning level or higher level messages to that. So you can see the warning level and higher level. So error and critical messages we can, warning and the info, debug and not safe, these messages will be displayed. So the warning level or higher level messages to the file. Now after creating log file, we can write messages to that file with the help of following methods. So logging.debug, whatever message you want to write, then logging.info, logging.warning. So for all the 6 critical level, we have 6 methods, and you can write the specific message for all these methods depending upon your program code. So if your program is if there is any exception related to warning, so you can write logging.warning and that exception message. If you have if there is any error, then you can write logging.error. If there is any critical error, you can write logging.critical. So depending upon your requirement, you can use any level method for messaging purpose, for writing messages. Now you can see, write a Python program to create a log file and write a warning and higher level messages. Then you can see import logging, logging.basic config, then file name log.txt, level equal to level.warning, then print logging model demo, logging.debug, this is debug message, then logging.info, this is info message, then logging.warning, this is warning message, and the remaining, that is error and critical. So once this program will be executed, log.txt file will be created, and in that file you can see warning, error and critical. So 3 messages will be there because the current level is a logging.warning. So only the level, if you are specifying any level, then that level and the level which are above of that level, only that message will get displayed. So here, if I set a debug level, then what will happen? Debug and the above 4 levels message will get displayed. Okay. So which level you are selecting, depending upon that, the message will get displayed. So here in this case, warning level is selected. So there is no, in the above program, only warning and higher level messages will be written to a log file. If we set level as a debug, then all messages will be written to log file. So again, the same example is there, just the level equal to logging.debug is there. Okay. Next is a multi-threading. Madam, shall I continue? Pattern, madam. Okay. Okay. So,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
what is multitasking? Now, executing several tasks simultaneously is called as a multitasking. Now, there are 2 types of multitasking. One is process-based multitasking, and second is the thread-based multitasking. Now, process-based multitasking, executing several tasks simultaneously, where each task is a separate process or separate independent process, is called as a process-based multitasking. And this type of multitasking you are doing regularly, because while typing Python program, you are listening audio, you can download any file from browser. So many times simultaneously many processes are open. So such a type of multitasking is called as a process-based multitasking. Okay, so here I have given the example also. While typing program editor, we can listen MP3 audio songs from the same system, and
Yes, I know time is over. Just give me some time so that I can inform to our guest faculty, and then you can put your attendance.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Sir, I think we need to stop
Okay.
here because as we have given 2 hours
Okay.
for the
Okay.
students. So I will ask for the CC for to continue for the next
Okay. Okay. No problem.
2 hours guest lectures, and then I will convey the message to you.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. No problem.
Thank you.
For students, if you have any doubt, you can communicate with me. So I will share my mail ID here. Uh, okay. So
Sir, if you want to give the instruction, you can give it to them.
okay, I will share today's PPT with ma'am. So ma'am will send it to you. If you have any doubt related to Python, you can ask me anytime. So I have already shared my mail ID, and try to execute program. Uh, we'll stop here. Thank you. Okay, madam. You continue.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So now everybody just put your roll numbers in the chat box. Okay, if you have any query regarding our 15 minutes, so you can ask to the Dhanvesh sirs or me also. He has already shared the email IDs. If you have any queries, you can mail them. Okay, so those who are put the attendance in the chat box, now they can leave from the meeting room. And those who are remaining, just put their roll numbers in the chat box.